Hi, my name is Gummy. I talk about true crime, and don't I got a case for you. Okay, this case went from oh my god to WTF real quick. And Palmdale, do you need help? Okay, if you have not noticed, any California, Palmdale is a city of chaos. Between the election problem they had when they were disregarding the black and Hispanic votes, to the police brutality, to the gang problems they severely will not acknowledge or fix, I stumbled on the case of Jaquarius Quinn. Jaquarius, I'm just going to call him Jay for court, lived in Pacoma, California. His parents described him as a fun, loving, innocent young man that wasn't involved in drugs or gangs. They came home on November 5th, 2016 from a dinner. The last time they seen Jaquarius or Jay was in his bedroom on his phone. The next following day, November 6th, a couple was coming home from dinner where they spotted a young man that was laying in the side of the road. They pulled over and called the police. The police was not sure who the victim was until the following morning when Jaquarius, which is Jay, grandmother came in to report her grandson missing. And so the police put two together and was like, yeah, we think we have your son. And unfortunately, the body was identified as Jaquarius Quinn. Now, how did Jaquarius, a 17-year-old boy that had no ties, no gangs, no nothing, found dead, shot on the side of the road in Palmdale? Now, the public was like crazy because like, how can an innocent young man be killed so volatile? Now, few years later, 6 years, 2023, a man named Yuseli Ishan Mason Martin was identified as Jaquarius' killer. He is now 27 years old. At the time of the crime, he should have been around the same age as Jaquarius. The police questioned him and asked him, hey, what was the reason for you murdering Jay? Ulysses says to them, it was for revenge, for DeMaurier. And the cops was figuring out like, who's DeMaurier? DeMaurier was a boy in North Carolina that got murdered. Now, what does that have to do with Jaquarius that lives in Pacoma, California? Now we're gonna have to go back in North Carolina to where it all started. Now meet Andre Bond, a 19-year-old who was a father of two kids. Unfortunately, in July of 2016, he was gunned down at 4:18 a.m. from people he knew. Now, the cops were fast to figure out these individuals who killed Andre Bond. They arrested Joseph Kendall Jr., 21, DeMonte Christopher, 18, and Eunice Fennell, 16 at the time, with murder. And they charged also with Eunice Fennell charging a weapon in a residential home. Okay? So they were arrested, they were charged, they're put away. Now, Eunice Fennell, right? She has a twin, DeMaurier Fennell, the boy that we talked about in the beginning that was cause of Jay Quinn's death. This is DeMaurier, okay? He is twins with Eunice, the other twin that just got arrested and charged with murder, okay? Now, unfortunately, he died 2 days after his birthday on November 1st, 2016. He was gunned down in front of his home, in front of his house, okay? Now, investigators was quickly on the case and found out the three individuals who shot him. Now, DeMaurier barely turned 17 years old. Now that's key. Now the investigators were quick to figure out who murdered DeMaurier in front of his home. Now if you do look up this case, you'll get confused, and articles will say that his twin sister did it because she was also in a 3-person group in a shootout, but no, it was a whole nother situation. The people that were caught for his murder was 50-year-old Jose Anthony Marlos, and also they arrested Nikkei Lamar Black, 26, and Jaquita Cole, 25 years old. Now you will ask, why do these grown people have to do with a 16, 17-year-old boy? Now here's when the case gets weird. Now, Jaquita Cole, this woman right here, okay, she was exes with DeMaurier, okay? She was dating a child. This was a grown woman dating a child. So I don't know what happened, if it was a love gone bad, she was scorned and she went, I don't know. But she was charged in the murder of DeMaurier. Now the family was mad because she was given bail, but they was like, fuck that. Okay, she got charged. Now, back to Eunice. Back to Eunice's trial. Now, Eunice is stuck in jail. Okay, she's not getting out. She was under a lot of distress, but the family didn't know. She seemed like she was in good spirits. Nothing seemed wrong. Now, unfortunately, she did self-exit in her cell. She was in an adult prison, and that was key point of why family thought, the police was the cause of her death. They should have been watching her. Now, after her death, laws were passed that North Carolina could not, even if the child was tried as an adult, go to an adult prison. It doesn't matter because, yeah, he did the thing, he did the time, you got to go to jail, boo boo. But she is technically still a child. She's in a prison with adults. We have no idea what her mind state was, okay? We don't judge. But she self-exits and her family was awarded $600K from the state. Now, what all of this have to do with Jay Quinn, okay? I'm getting to that. Back to her. Jaquita Cole is actually Jay Quinn's older sister. Now, it seems like she was just eradicated from the family. Nobody talks to her, no even posted pictures of her. Barely. She's non existing to the family. And I bet, because probably everybody was embarrassed that she's dating a child. And on top of that, you help take one out. You're a disgusting human being, and you deserve everything that's coming to you. Now, again, what does this have to do with Jay Quinn? Hey, Gummy, this is in North Carolina. Now, it was said that the Fennels, which is the twins, the family, they lived in Los Angeles at a point in time and ended up moving to North Carolina. So they probably had connections, they had friends, they had family out here before they moved. So, quote unquote, they knew who Jaquita was to Jay Quinn. Now, here's the question. Was this really a revenge seeking eye for an eye situation? I don't really think so, in my opinion, allegedly. So, on his Facebook was left very cryptic and scary messages leading up to his demise. Now, to quote unquote say that was said by the police and the family of Jay Quinn that he was a sweet, loving, innocent boy, didn't indulge in drugs, didn't do gangs, nothing. He was an all around good child. But I beg to differ because on his Facebook page was very cryptic messages. Now, Jaquan was allegedly, now again, this is his Facebook page, kind of going off on an alleged gang, up here teasing and mocking them that they're not a real set, I guess. I don't speak gang. But obviously, these were fighting words. I had to blow myself up because I can't really show what he's holding, but it rhymes with a water gun, okay? And on top of the caption, again, he teases that gang or rival gang with, just use your imaginations. And this type of taunting goes on for months, even days after his death, still taunting the gang. That's in Palmdale. Think about it. He's taunting a gang in Palmdale. Then his last cryptic message was talking about that the people threatening whoever was threatening to put him in a coffin and that he's always ready. The eerie part about it is he taunted, I guess, the wrong people and they left him in Palmdale. And that's just my theory. That's what I think. That's don't believe what I said. It's just what I'm viewing. Now, if the family says he wasn't involved in the games, if the police says he wasn't involved in the games, I'm just going to go by the police says. But again, this is this boy's profile. Again, dealing with gang activity. Now, I do understand that a certain demographic of people are ignored in the media once they go missing or it's a homicide involved because it's like you live that life, you act like what's this, it's expected. So I understand why they probably had to shift the narrative of what was really going on in his home life for it to get attention. And I don't blame them for that. But now that the case is solved, everybody's in jail, I feel like it's appropriate now to just see entirely how big of a tragedy this is. How 3 young adults, young teenagers, barely adults, lost their lives over nonsense. They were in the streets. They were doing things that thought they looked cool or grown or doing stuff they had to do. I don't know, but we're not going to judge. It's just the fact that 3 young children lost their lives over violence. And then one of them was probably groomed by the victim's sister. So altogether, this whole story was a mess. Again, I don't want any disrespectful comments. I just thought this was an interesting story that I feel like the community needs to hear about and pay attention to you guys' children. Because honestly, you don't know what they're getting up to or what they're doing. And I hope the fact that you are not indulging this fact, or it could be your child up here that I'll be talking about. So rest in peace to Andre Bond, Eunice and Demourier Felon. I'm sorry, Fennell, Demourier and Fennell. And rest in peace to Jay Quinn.